Is his wife a reporter? Is his wife a reporter? They studied abroad for a while. They studied abroad for a while. They want to study abroad next year. They want to study abroad next year. They studied for their exams. They studied for their exams. I have a lot of determination. I have a lot of determination. His father is a teacher. His father is a teacher. Do you have a dream? Do you have a dream? Approximately. Approximately. The painting was hung on the wall. The painting was hung on the wall. He said he had never been to a concert before. He said he had never been to a concert before. The meeting between the two leaders focused on trade agreements. The meeting between the two leaders focused on trade agreements. Then he is convinced. Then he is convinced. We understand the instructions. We understand the instructions. But I didn't see the ing at the end of the verb. But I didn't see the ing at the end of the verb. Slow. Slow. Doesn't it advertise at noon? Doesn't it advertise at noon? Can't we be linguists for 2 weeks? Can't we be linguists for 2 weeks? It's 1:45. It's 1:45. Are your grandchildren barbers? Are your grandchildren barbers? I may have to be late at work tonight. I may have to be late at work tonight. Conclusion. Conclusion. How often do you eat apples? How often do you eat apples? This is his book. This is his book. It gets more challenging as the project progresses. It gets more challenging as the project progresses. Can you pass the salt, please? They asked. Can you pass the salt, please? They asked. Under suspicion. Under suspicion. I can be a businessman every week. I can be a businessman every week. They went to Thailand and visited many temples. They went to Thailand and visited many temples. What's this? What's this? Could you please turn off the lights on your way out? Could you please turn off the lights on your way out? There is no food in the refrigerator. There is no food in the refrigerator. His son is a pediatrician. His son is a pediatrician. Isn't he alive? Isn't he alive? It's so surreal. It's so surreal. He was saving money for the holidays. But then his car broke down and he had to use the money for repairs. He was saving money for the holidays. But then his car broke down and he had to use the money for repairs. Mostly blocked. Mostly blocked. Do you have to give a job? Do you have to give a job? What food do you usually eat? What food do you usually eat? Hello, my name is Tom. Hello, my name is Tom. I am eating. I am eating. There were children in the opposite building. There were children in the opposite building. I shouldn't say 1 second later. I shouldn't say 1 second later. They will answer. They will answer. They hate doing laundry. They hate doing laundry. We have already booked our flights for the holiday. We have already booked our flights for the holiday. The restaurant will close at midnight. The restaurant will close at midnight. You look a little uncomfortable. You look a little uncomfortable. We may not be able to do carpentry at sunset. We may not be able to do carpentry at sunset. Do you like taking pictures? Do you like taking pictures? Was your spouse a coroner? Was your spouse a coroner? The mistake was made by me. The mistake was made by me. We had made plans for the weekend before they invited us. We had made plans for the weekend before they invited us. Should not threaten after one night. Should not threaten after one night. Are there any cooking demonstrations today? Are there any cooking demonstrations today? Can you direct me to the safe? Can you direct me to the safe? To make a decision. To make a decision. Which shoes do you like? Black ones or brown ones? Which shoes do you like? Black ones or brown ones? I don't want to lose my magazines because I look good. I don't want to lose my magazines because I look good. Do you mind if I examine your eyes? Do you mind if I examine your eyes? She couldn't help but buy the new dress. She couldn't help but buy the new dress. Must be a ballerina every day. Must be a ballerina every day. I'm starving. I'm starving. Can you explain this to me? Can you explain this to me? When did you go to school? When did you go to school? Wasn't he fit every day? Wasn't he fit every day? He is learning to play the guitar. He is learning to play the guitar. Cannot normally decrease. Cannot normally decrease. The dog ran after the ball with great excitement. The dog ran after the ball with great excitement. How would you like to cook? How would you like to cook? Then he may not be a sportscaster. Then he may not be a sportscaster. Will you not publish? Will you not publish? Your cousins are oncologists. Your cousins are oncologists. Your mother was binding. Your mother was binding. English is the language of the empire. English is the language of the empire. Do you have any suggestions? Do you have any suggestions? Doesn't it work often? Doesn't it work often? They didn't work 4 years ago. They didn't work 4 years ago. It shouldn't make cream at dusk. It shouldn't make cream at dusk. He is a skilled carpenter and makes beautiful furniture. He is a skilled carpenter and makes beautiful furniture. You were getting married. You were getting married. He studied English. He studied English. Has this happened to you before? Has this happened to you before? The cat chased a mouse. The cat chased a mouse. These are stunning sunsets. These are stunning sunsets. Your uncle was a courier. Your uncle was a courier. I love taking photos. I love taking photos. I don't notice anything special about the event. I don't notice anything special about the event. I'm going to the cafe. I'm going to the cafe. Both of us. Both of us. We'll finish this book and write a review after that. We'll finish this book and write a review after that. We are hiking in the mountains. We are hiking in the mountains. They were firefighters before. They were firefighters before. You will often be the second man. You will often be the second man. How many fish are in the aquarium? How many fish are in the aquarium? I have to finish this report by the end of the day. I have to finish this report by the end of the day. Then it may not explode at 2 a.m. Then it may not explode at 2 a.m. Can't your noon be a urologist? Can't your noon be a urologist? He was able to find his lost keys. He was able to find his lost keys. The dog was chasing its tail in the backyard. The dog was chasing its tail in the backyard. They want to learn to speak French. They want to learn to speak French. This cake is delicious. This cake is delicious. I'm weaker than John. I'm weaker than John. Can't we ask at night? Can't we ask at night? Would not name. Would not name. I could see the twinkling stars in the night sky. I could see the twinkling stars in the night sky. Do you like swimming? Do you like swimming? Be my guest. Be my guest. The painting depicts a beautiful landscape. The painting depicts a beautiful landscape. Did he say anything to you? Did he say anything to you? They will soon be able to make a decision. They will soon be able to make a decision. The bus is going towards the train station. The bus is going towards the train station. To trust. To trust. The printer is out of ink. The printer is out of ink. Did you walk? Did you walk? The company is developing new products. The company is developing new products. We rarely hunted. We rarely hunted. Not cut often. Not cut often. Is our stepsister a lobbyist? Is our stepsister a lobbyist? Your relatives are speakers. Your relatives are speakers. Sentences used daily in English. Sentences used daily in English. Most. Most. Don't you normally have to suffer? Don't you normally have to suffer? He needs to buy a plane ticket. He needs to buy a plane ticket. The boy, lost in the crowd, began to cry. The boy, lost in the crowd, began to cry. We're going on vacation next week. We're going on vacation next week. Was his grandson a drummer? Was his grandson a drummer? Are his siblings interviewers? Are his siblings interviewers? His comments were unrelated to the current debate. His comments were unrelated to the current debate. Our grandfather was a homeowner. Our grandfather was a homeowner. I need to print some documents. Do you know where the nearest printer is? I need to print some documents. Do you know where the nearest printer is? Although he has no experience, he has a lot of potential. Although he has no experience, he has a lot of potential. His half-sister is the referee. His half-sister is the referee. Couldn't you have shouted 5 days ago? Couldn't you have shouted 5 days ago? I will do whatever you want me to do. I will do whatever you want me to do. How was your exam? How was your exam? Can't they lie now? Can't they lie now? He's already made dinner. He's already made dinner. I was viewed 5 hours ago. I was viewed 5 hours ago. He needs to buy a new computer. He needs to buy a new computer. I looked at 2 different issues today. I looked at 2 different issues today. Actual head count per rating. Actual head count per rating. Failed every year. Failed every year. School ends at 3. School ends at 3. Do you have gluten-free pasta? Do you have gluten-free pasta? You will be an innkeeper for 2 weeks. You will be an innkeeper for 2 weeks. To say. Will I be born at night? Will I be born at night? I'm taking 2 weeks. I'm taking 2 weeks. Will he be an air traffic controller? Will he be an air traffic controller? We had a cat but it ran away. We had a cat but it ran away. I don't know what you are saying. I don't know what you are saying. How do you peel this off? How do you peel this off? His grandfather was a bounty hunter. His grandfather was a bounty hunter. We had the broken lock replaced with a locksmith. We had the broken lock replaced with a locksmith. Their stepmother is a golfer. Their stepmother is a golfer. Fear of failure is holding me back. Fear of failure is holding me back. We played basketball in the park. We played basketball in the park. The book is very difficult for me to understand. The book is very difficult for me to understand. It's like you'll have learned in 2 months. It's like you'll have learned in 2 months. Can you pass the salt? Can you pass the salt? We couldn't rule at 2 a.m. before. We couldn't rule at 2 a.m. before. Close. Close. I will be living in Japan for the next 5 years. I will be living in Japan for the next 5 years. He is taking a shower. He is taking a shower. Change can be difficult, but it can also be good. Change can be difficult, but it can also be good. His house is cleaner than mine. His house is cleaner than mine. It's not important. It's not important. 10 years will not worry. 10 years will not worry. Don't we estimate yearly? Don't we estimate yearly? You didn't tell me anything about yourself. You didn't tell me anything about yourself. She can be a housewife in the previous one evening. She can be a housewife in the previous one evening. He became governor 3 seconds ago. He became governor 3 seconds ago. You wouldn't normally draw. You wouldn't normally draw. We didn't have any audit logs at Company X. We didn't have any audit logs at Company X. They couldn't compare on a daily basis. They couldn't compare on a daily basis. Car red. Car red. You should not be an interpreter after a weekend. You should not be an interpreter after a weekend. What would you like to buy? What would you like to buy? He had already sent the email when he realized his mistake. He had already sent the email when he realized his mistake. He always arrives on time. He always arrives on time. He needed to focus on the task at hand. He needed to focus on the task at hand. Can we complain? Can we complain? He often forgets his keys. He often forgets his keys. What assets will be part of the shadow release? What assets will be part of the shadow release? Can't you wash next year? Can't you wash next year? I don't notice anything special about the event. I don't notice anything special about the event. Was not often an esthetician. Was not often an esthetician. Is there a jewelry section in the store? Is there a jewelry section in the store? We go jogging in the morning. We go jogging in the morning. He is a kind and caring person. He is a kind and caring person. Would do it later. Would do it later. You will be waiting for the bus. You will be waiting for the bus. What are you thinking? What are you thinking? Should he reply once a month? Should he reply once a month? Do you have checked baggage? Do you have checked baggage? Didn't I install? Didn't I install? Will he be an air traffic controller? Will he be an air traffic controller? I bought a new car. I bought a new car. It was not borrowed. It was not borrowed. I wish they could attend the conference. I wish they could attend the conference. Teresa is sleeping in her bedroom. Teresa is sleeping in her bedroom. Every cell in the body has a specific function. Every cell in the body has a specific function. Can't they decide next year? Can't they decide next year? Is your sister a reporter? Is your sister a reporter? Which is your favorite book? Which is your favorite book? Would not be afraid. Would not be afraid. Wouldn't we run away at noon? Wouldn't we run away at noon? He was listening to music while doing his homework. He was listening to music while doing his homework. The man wearing the hat is my uncle. The man wearing the hat is my uncle. He wrote an article about his trip to Paris. He wrote an article about his trip to Paris. They have been playing chess for hours. They have been playing chess for hours. Who can support us? Who can support us? We listen to the radio in the car. We listen to the radio in the car. Your wife owns the house. Your wife owns the house. When we finish this walk, we will be walking for 4 hours. When we finish this walk, we will be walking for 4 hours. I can study abroad next year. I can study abroad next year. I don't notice anything special about the thing in question. I don't notice anything special about the thing in question. I drink coffee in the morning. I drink coffee in the morning. Do you have plans for next weekend? Do you have plans for next weekend? Have you ever been to a Broadway show before last night? Have you ever been to a Broadway show before last night? He rode every day. He rode every day. Investing in stocks may seem like a safe bet, but there's always the risk of the stock market crashing. Investing in stocks may seem like a safe bet, but there's always the risk of the stock market crashing. The distance between the two cities is about 200 miles. The distance between the two cities is about 200 miles. Does it fix it right away? Does it fix it right away? Turn right at the next corner. Turn right at the next corner. He is an artist and makes beautiful paintings. He is an artist and makes beautiful paintings. Your daughter was a locksmith. Your daughter was a locksmith. Hug me. Hug me. In life. What is your purpose? In life. What is your purpose? She had been taking ballet lessons since childhood, so she was a talented dancer. She had been taking ballet lessons since childhood, so she was a talented dancer. Our son is an architect. Our son is an architect. Does not follow you. Does not follow you. The car was repaired by a mechanic. The car was repaired by a mechanic. He seems confident in his abilities. He seems confident in his abilities. I usually go to bed at 10 o'clock. I usually go to bed at 10 o'clock. The students studied hard for the exam. The students studied hard for the exam. We saw a movie. We saw a movie. His house is tidier than mine. His house is tidier than mine. Subtract. Subtract. Century. Century. You must have read the instructions before assembling the furniture. You must have read the instructions before assembling the furniture. I might try a new restaurant for dinner. I might try a new restaurant for dinner. Can't they close after 2 days? Can't they close after 2 days? He will start a new job. He will start a new job. They were having a picnic in the park on Sunday. They were having a picnic in the park on Sunday. I really like this style of clothing. I really like this style of clothing. My parents will retire next year. My parents will retire next year. I'm taking 2 weeks. I'm taking 2 weeks. His cousins were lobbyists. His cousins were lobbyists. She had studied for the exam all week, so she felt confident when she walked into the class. She had studied for the exam all week, so she felt confident when she walked into the class.